Okay, so what do a massive, towering banyan tree and a tiny microscopic amoeba actually have in common? Well, let's dive right into this explainer. If you literally shrink yourself down to the microscopic level, you'll find that every single living thing on this planet is made of the exact same fundamental building blocks. It's truly mind-blowing when you think about it. Welcome, all you cadet aspirants. Consider this explainer your ultimate high-yield prep session. We're going to completely master cellular organization today, specifically zeroing in on the key concepts you absolutely need to crack the biology section of your admission test. Let's explore these building blocks together. Here's our study roadmap for today. We'll be covering the discovery and types of cells, typical cell structure, cytoplasmic organelles, plant versus animal cells, and finally, how cells build organisms. Let's just get right into it. Section 1, Discovery and Types of Cells. And keep in mind, historical facts are absolute classic multiple-choice questions on the admission test. So let's set that foundation right now. What's super interesting here is this specific drawing from our source material. This is the actual microscope used by the English scientist Robert Hooke. You see, he first discovered cells by looking at extremely thin slices of bottle corks under this very type of microscope. He noticed they looked like, little empty rooms, which is exactly why he decided to call them cells. And the crucial point? The year 1665. Guys, this is a highly testable trivia fact that you absolutely have to memorize for the exam. Robert Hooke, cork cells, 1665. Lock it in. Moving right along, we classify these cells into two main types, prokaryotic and eukaryotic. The fundamental difference between these two really just boils down to one simple thing. Do they have a well-organized, membrane-bound nucleus or not? Prokaryotic cells, well, they're more primitive, so they completely lack this organized nucleus. Eukaryotic cells, on the other hand, possess a true, distinct nucleus. Make sure you've got this terminology down for your prep. And this brilliantly illustrates that exact concept. Take a look at the bacterial cells shown here. Bacteria are without a doubt perfect examples of prokaryotic cells. Notice how their internal genetic material isn't enclosed in some neat little central nucleus? Nope, it's just freely floating around within the cell. If your exam asks for a prokaryotic example, boom, bacteria is your go-to answer. Section 2, Structure of a typical cell. For this part, try to imagine the cell not just as some microscopic blob, but as a busy, incredibly highly organized city. Because every city needs borders and space, right? First up, we have the cell wall. This is the non-living, rigid outer boundary found only in plant cells, acting kind of like a tough city wall. Just inside that, we've got the cytoplasm. Think of this as the jelly-like fluid, or basically the landscape of the city, that suspends and holds all the tiny specialized structures we call organelles. Section 3, Cytoplasmic organelles. All right, we're diving into the absolute high-value targets of the cell right now. These are notorious for showing up as short-answer exam questions. First up is the mitochondria. Think of this as the ultimate powerhouse, or, the main energy generation plant of our cell city. The mitochondria generate almost all the energy required for every single cellular activity to take place. Simply put, no mitochondria, no energy, literally no life. Next, check out this incredibly detailed internal structure. This is the nucleus. So, if the mitochondria is the powerhouse, the nucleus is the command center. It's the very heart of the cell. It controls absolutely everything that happens inside, directing all the complex traffic and chemical reactions. If we zoom in and break open that command center, there are 4 core parts you really need to know. The nuclear membrane wrapping around it, the liquid nucleoplasm inside, the dense nucleolus, and the chromatin fibers, which actually form chromosomes. Quick pro tip for the exam. Questions frequently ask you to identify these 4 specific components straight from a diagram, so definitely make sure this list is locked in. Now, what about plastids? Well, think of them as both the food factory and the paintbrush of the cell. These guys are totally unique to plant cells. They're responsible for creating those beautiful, vibrant colors you see in flowers and leaves. And structurally, the green ones, chloroplasts, are absolutely crucial for producing the plant's food through photosynthesis. Then we have the vacuole. This is the cell's main storage vault. Under a microscope, it honestly just looks like a large, empty space, but actually, it's filled with cell sap, storing nutrients and maintaining internal pressure. Here's a huge key tip for the exam. The vacuole is massive in plant cells, often pushing everything else completely out of the way to the side. But in animal cells, it's generally tiny or just completely absent.
Section 4, plant versus animal cell differences. Pay close attention here, because this ultimate comparison is pretty much guaranteed to show up on your test.
Take a look at this side-by-side view from our source text. Animal cell on one side, plant cell on the other. Visually scan the differences between the two for a second. Notice the rigid, thick outer cell wall on the plant cell, and look at that massive empty space inside it. Yep, that's the large vacuole we just talked about. The animal cell totally lacks that rigid wall and that huge central storage space. So, to really lock this in securely, here is an exam hacker's absolute best friend, a simple, high-yield comparison table. You just need to memorize these three crucial features: cell wall, present in plants, absent in animals; plastids, present in plants for food and color, generally absent in animals; vacuoles, large and prominent in plants, small or absent in animals. Seriously, if you have this information memorized, you just secured some incredibly easy points on your exam. Section 5, from cells to organisms. We've spent this entire time zoomed way in at the microscopic level, but now we're going to zoom back out to see how all this builds an entire body. Here is the biological hierarchy, exactly as it's mapped out in your textbooks. It all starts with a single cell. A group of similar cells working together makes a tissue. Tissues group together to form an organ, like, say, your heart or your lungs. Organs connect to form a system, like your respiratory system. And finally, all the systems working together create the complete organism. It is literally incredible how single building blocks stack up to create complex living beings like us. When these cells team up into tissues and organs, they take on massive jobs just to keep the organism alive. As a unified team, they handle food production via chloroplasts in plants, large-scale energy generation, resource storage for water and essential nutrients, and even secreting crucial enzymes and juices, like how a pancreas secretes insulin. The teamwork is just absolutely flawless. Which leaves us with this final, honestly mind-blowing thought. If a single microscopic cell is capable of controlling so many complex functions, how many billions of cells are working together flawlessly right now inside you, just to help you watch this explainer, retain this information, and prepare for this exam? Biology isn't just a subject you study. It's literally the story of you. Keep that in mind, stay focused on these core concepts, and best of luck on your cadet college admission test.